If you had to pick another brand to collaborate with, what would it be and why? Oh my goodness.
I think it would probably be Highland Park malt Scotch whisky from the island of Orkney, because I've always loved this particular whisky. It's got real cult status, and I think it's such a great all-rounder that I would love the opportunity to maybe collaborate Glenmorangie with Highland Park.
Well, it depends on the brand. Because I work with 3 distilleries, it would be a different one for each distillery. I think with Glendronach, a Highland malt, it's got full body, but it's also exquisite. This wonderful, the top quality leather kind of scent in the background. It also gives you a lovely, lovely velvety finish. I think I'd like to partner with a leather brand of some sort. Something like Mulberry.
I think I'd like to connect a lot 40 with a peated whiskey of some sort. Maybe going back and partnering with Chivas Brothers. I think it'd be interesting, the spicy notes for rye with a smoky note from a peat. I don't know whether it would clash. Here's my experimenting side. I don't know whether people will like it, but I think I'd like to try that. I'm always about experimentation.
Benriach, though, I think is very fruity, and I think with Benriach, because we mostly use bourbon casks, we're always experimenting with Benriach. Partner with probably would be Woodford Reserve I would go for. I love Woodford Reserve. Like to collaborate more using Woodford Reserve casks, exploring the similarities and the differences between our processes.
If we were going to collaborate, I think that I would love to do something with Jack Daniel's, just because they're our Tennessee friends. But we haven't really done a Tennessee and Kentucky whiskey. We could really do an interesting blend and something that was totally just not thought of yet, and I would love to do that. Talk about quality standards. Jack Daniel's is very, very high up there. I love their quality team down there, and I think that we could do something that was really interesting that would highlight the beauty of Woodford Reserve and then also fruitiness of Jack Daniel's.
First one would be Cavalon. It'd be very interesting to see how our rye whiskey, or our take on rye whiskey, how their kind of unique aging would affect it, and felt that they're very unique and complex and have a certain depth.
That's a very tough question. There's a huge amount of collaborations I love to do. I really enjoy working on is Redbreast Lustau. So Lustau are a worldwide recognized sherry wine producer in the south of Spain. We collaborate with them on one of our Redbreast expressions, where our casks are seasoned with their Oloroso sherry wine, but they do make some other incredible wines, Finos and Amontillados and Paulo Cortados and even vermouths. So they have a huge amount of other wines that I'd love to experiment with and collaborate with them.
Distiller that I think would be interesting to collaborate with too would be Luxardo. Maybe with them more in terms of ready to drink, using some of their liqueurs. Very traditionally made, beautifully made. It just seems like something that'd be fun to work with.
And then with Glenglassa, I think it would have to be something coastal. So whether it's speedboats or nature as well. Glenglassa is like a beautiful nature reserve, and you have gannets diving, you have dolphins. It really is a beautiful natural environment to explore. Something with exploring nature, being outdoors.
I think it would have to be Bruichladdich, who is our sister distillery over on the island of Islay. We are thinking about how we would collaborate, in fact, so this actually isn't a hypothetical. The fun part is, one, they're progressive Hebridean distillers. They're trying to create something new and pushing the style of Islay whiskey forward. They're also really high provenance. So because we're both trying to do very similar things, and we're trying to make a whiskey evocative of the Pacific Northwest, they're trying to do something evocative of Islay. How do you join those two things together? I think that would be a really interesting exercise.
Definitely a brand that is innovative, progressive, maybe doing some work on the organic front. We've done some collaborations already with Bruichladdich. I think maybe something with Remy Martin. It'd be very interesting to see what cask finish specifically using a VSOP.
Well, I look at my job as I say, for me, distilling and blending and fermenting, and all this is a creation, act of creation. Best way to learn is to work with others. I collaborated with more than 50 different master blenders and master distillers in my life. Work with others in a very humble way. You approach somebody else doing their job with passion, and you see what they're doing, and you learn from them, and All this is very important. So I've done this many times, and we're starting to look at one another very seriously with Greg Glass, who's an incredible mind of whiskey making, and that's probably the next adventure for us. So these adventures have been defining for me, and they will continue to be.